Hello everyone, happy Monday. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits, and I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and we relax, we craft, we work on a project together, and we're here for about an hour or so in the evenings here. So we are continuing tonight on the Charming Chevrons quilt. We've been off of it for a few days. We weren't here over the weekend, and on Friday it was Finish It Friday, where we work on a random project that we don't have done yet. So we are back on the Charming Chevrons quilt tonight, and we are continuing our stack. Here's the stack. This is what we got left here. Our stack of squares. So we have 2 squares here, and there's a line. We drew a line down the diagonal, sewed on either side. Now we're going to cut those apart. We're going to cut down the diagonal line, and because we've sewn on either side, we are going to get 2 half square triangles. We're going to get one on this side of the cut, and then we're going to get one on this side as well. So 2 half square triangles out of one of these guys right here. So we got to do all that trimming. We got to trim the diagonal, then we got to press it so it's open, so it lays flat and is nice, and then we are going to trim it to our perfect size. And that's what we'll be doing today, and we'll probably be doing this for the next few days, and then we will be sewing them into the half chevrons here. So we got to keep both of those half square triangles together, because ultimately we want the same fabric pairing to go together for these half chevrons. And it's a half chevron because when you just stick one that goes in the other direction, then you got that V, you got the little chevron going there. So we have all of them done for going the one direction. We just need to finish the rest for this new direction here. So that's the plan for the week. Let's see how far we get this week. And when we're done with that, we can lay it all out on the floor and rearrange all the pieces, and we can really start seeing what we want this quilt to look like. So I'm super stoked to get to that part. If you guys wanted to check this out, we are going to be working on it for quite some time yet, so there's plenty time to join in if you'd like. It is a simple quilt, but with just like really graphic, fun results. I'm really stoked about it. So you can just click the link in the post here. It's by Krista Watson of Krista Quilts, and the link will take you to her website. All right, so I'm going to flip you around and let me know how your week's going, how your weekend went. Let's get started. Let's see how many we can do of these tonight. Oh, you've been looking at checking your project for the value. Yeah. So on Friday we had a little, not Friday, on Thursday we did a little lesson in value, just so you can look at your fabrics and really tell which ones are light and dark. And we used, here, let me show you this again. We used the new Ruby ruler from Wisecraft. This is Blair Stalker from Wisecraft. We did her paper piecing project, but you can really see, like if we look at this under the Ruby ruler, it kind of cancels out all the color, so you can really see, like in black and white, the different values. So you got that dark value, that medium value, and the light value. So when you're going through your scraps and you want those different color values, because the different values kind of define the shapes you got going on in there. Oh, no problem, Gretchen. And so that's a great tool for that Ruby ruler. Oh man, and I don't know if I put that link back in here. So I'll have to put that Ruby ruler link in my post here when we're done. Oh, especially our English paper piece. I could have done better on value as well, Gretchen. That's something I'm really trying to work on, is value, because it's really one of the most important things you can tackle when you're picking your fabrics. when you're picking your fabrics for a quilt or for a project, for any project. It doesn't even have to be fabric. You know, if you're doing a painting or if you're doing an embroidery, value is one of the biggest things to focus on, because that's what's going to define all your shapes. So like if you have a star in your quilt made out of a bunch of pieces, if you look at what the value of that color is that you want for the star and compare it to the value of the fabric you're putting around it, that's how you can really define the shape of that star. So think about value first, and then you can pick your fabrics and colors kind of around that. And that's something, that process is something I want to work on a little bit more. So in projects after this one, I think I'll be putting a little bit more focus on this. I definitely realized, you know, looking back at our projects that we've been doing, I've always been a little, not unhappy, but there's always, I always see with, I had to take my sweater off. I always saw with the projects that I've been doing recently, there's definitely room to improve as far as value goes. Like, you know, with, for example, the English paper piecing project that we did, I wanted it to look like there was a little flower in the middle with leaves. And I think if I would have spent a little bit more time thinking of value, the value of my scraps beforehand, I think that flower and its leaves would have popped out a little bit more. I really only focused on color for the most part. Or I focused on color more than value. Let's say that. So I had the color of the flower was bright pink and I had green leaves, but it didn't pop because I didn't focus on value. Oh, and Gretchen, you spent a lot of money on kits because you weren't thinking of value. So it was now with more control over being able to see value and be thinking about value, you can choose your own fabrics better and not have to get kits. That's awesome. Where other folks choose everything. Oh yeah, I want to be able to do that. Yeah, same with me, Gretchen. I want to get better at that. So I think from this project on out, or after this project, I'll be definitely focusing a little bit more on value, and I'll probably be talking about it a lot more too when I pick out my next fabrics for whatever the next project is. Actually, our next project is going to be that embroidery. Well, I'm going to do embroidery in it, but it's going to be that the sketchbook cover. That's what it's called. The sketchbook cover that has a little zipper pocket in the back of it from my book. That's going to be our next project. I'll have more info on that yet too. All right, so you can see I'm set up a little bit different than I have been, and that's because I want to show you over here. I didn't finish my Finish It Friday project. This is that hedgehog quilt. I wonder if I can show you it from this direction. My little hedgehog. It's still on, ooh, you can kind of see it here. I'll go this way. It's still on the machine, and I didn't want to take it off, so I just scooched my whole machine over, and maybe I'll pick it up here and there. But I'm like, oh, I'm just cutting today. I can maybe just shimmy everything over. So that's hiding out over there. And we're working in this tiny little space, so that's why I'm not up high on the table this time. Alrighty. Let's keep pressing. I think I can still angle you guys so you can see, though. I thought, ooh, I'll finish that hedgehog. I just have to go down around the border one more time. Like, that's it. That's all I have yet to do, and I thought I could squeeze it in before I started tonight, but That didn't happen. I filed my nails instead so they didn't look so scary for you guys. So maybe tomorrow I'll squeak out the rest of that sewing around the edge there. Oh, you got the catalog from Craftsy today. Do they send out a catalog of all the classes? That's kind of cool. Yes, it's a jean. The border is made out of jeans, and I had cut 1.5-inch strips from the jeans for like ever and ever. So I have like just a long running. I just kept adding jeans, these 1.5-inch strips to the jeans, and it's actually from my larger jean quilt that I'm working on. And so the border for this is scraps, not scraps, but like leftover 1.5-inch giant long strip of jeans from my jean quilt that I didn't need for the quilt. I like being able to reuse that stuff. Oh yes, Alicia, I'd love to see. If you guys have any project you want to share, or share what you're crafting, what you're working on right now, feel free to join the Penguin and Fish Crafters group on Facebook and post a pic up there. It's always fun to see your progress on the projects that we're doing together here, and see what else you're working on. What else you got crafting? Oh, the quilt kits and thread. Oh, that makes sense. That's right. I forgot that Craftsy sells quilt kits and thread. I forgot about that. That's cool. I didn't know they put a catalog together of all that. That's interesting. All right, we're just cruising through these guys today, cutting on that diagonal. And there, now we have those half square triangles separated. And we've just been pressing them. We've been pressing them with the seam open, because that's what the designer, that's what Krista Watson from Krista Quilts, that's what she suggests, especially if you are planning on free motion quilting your quilts, and that's what I'm planning on doing. So I'm going with her recommendation of pressing the seams open. I don't know the difference because I have not free motioned a quilt before, but someone recently commented on her stream that pressing open really helped her with the free motion quilting. So that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that it's working for someone, because I'm going to need all the help I can get once we get to the free motion quilting of this. You're working on some book pillows. Oh no, you jammed up the bobbin case. Oh no, the baby has to go to the hospital. Yeah, speaking of, I still have not contacted my sewing machine place about that belt. So last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, we cleaned and oiled my machine here, my old Kenmore sewing machine. We opened it up and checked it out and oiled it and cleaned it all out, changed the needle and all that. But we noticed that the belt, you know, that goes around that motor, or like makes the whole thing run, had a couple cracks in it, which is not cool because I just got it replaced a couple months ago because the whole belt was broken. So I don't know how, you know, I think someone mentioned here, but I think it's a good theory that they happen to have that one around, and it was probably sitting there on the shelf for a while and probably was already cracked or already old enough that it's cracking already, and that I need to call them in and be like, hey dudes, what the heck? So I have not done that yet. I have a deadline I'm getting done, and then maybe things like that will start falling in place again. I'll have to get on all that. And if any of you are waiting for an email from me, I will get back to everything soon. I have one more week of deadline-y stuff, and then I'll be back on top of things again. Ooh, Sue, that sounds amazing. I need a pillow like that. A pillow that has a pocket to hold a book for bedtime reading. That sounds so nice. I would put it on my chair, my morning chair where I like reading. I also like that we're pressing, I mean, we're going to press these open anyway, press these half square triangles, but I'm extra liking it because some of these we did not press beforehand and they got all the kinks and stuff in them. So we have the opportunity now to press them before we trim them down, and that's good. And I still really like this one. It's like a rainbow diamond, this patterned fabric. Open up there. Oh man, this is stubborn. There we go. If you ever decide to get a new machine, you have to... Oh, do I have a dream machine in mind? My dream machine, if I had the opportunity for a new machine and it was a dream machine, I'd be skipping the whole machine, the sewing machine altogether, and I'd be ramping up to a long arm quilter, long arm quilting machine. That's what the dream machine would be, and I don't know which one of those I would get, but it'd be one with the biggest, widest area of working. And a room all to itself for it too. How about that? So I think if I was really going for a dream machine, which, I mean, if you, you know, like a sewing machine, you can get sewing machines that are like $10,000 and stuff. Ones that have all the fancy shenanigans happening, right? And I'm like, man, if I'm spending $10,000 on a new sewing machine, I might as well throw down a couple more thousand and just get the long arm machine. That's my thought on that. But yeah, man, there's some nice machines out there now for sure. I figure if this one dies for some reason, which, I don't know, my sewing machine guy seems to think that it will never die. It's a great machine that will last forever. But let's say it fell off a cliff and I could not recover it. Then I still have my husband's great-grandma's old Singer, I think from the 20s, Singer sewing machine. So I just break that one out instead. I don't know if I would get anything new. I would just start using that machine primarily, I think, and still work at that. Work on the long arm one. The baby lock long arm for $25,000. Yeah, that's a lot. That must be one with a lot of fancy shenanigans going on, because I think that's a little bit more than what I've seen, but it does not surprise me. Oh man, I've played around on one before and it just seems like it would be so fun. And I joined a Facebook group. This feels like I might have, nope, I still just have, I thought I sewed 3 pieces of fabric together and, on accident again, but nope, it's good. But I joined a Facebook group called Vintage Sewing Machines. And man, people are finding just cool sewing machines all over the place, and it's just so fun to see all these old singers pop up and just all these old machines and the old cabinets that they all sit in and stuff too. That's a fun thing. And you know, everyone's like, I'm at a garage sale and this is $50. Is this a good deal? And everyone, there's like hundreds of people going like, yes, buy it right now. Enabling, that'd be a problem. Problem for me. Alrighty. I'm trying not to buy that stuff anymore. Trying to use up what I have and not acquire more large things. You know, long arm quilter, that's probably the largest thing ever if I would ever get one of those. I have no purpose for it other than I think it'd be super fun. A cool like machine embroidery machine or a sewing machine that can handle machine embroidery, which is almost all new sewing, not all new sewing machines, but all the new fancy ones. A lot of them can do machine embroidery. That'd be kind of cool too, but I don't know. I have a super cheap sewing machine that does machine embroidery, and that's all I need right now if I need to do little machine embroidery things here and there. That in theory is a sewing machine too, so if the singer, John's great grandma's singer's sewing machine, if that fell off a cliff too, I'd still have this cheapo machine embroidery one that doubles as a sewing machine. Ooh, metal mechanical, that's always good. You have your Singer 237 workhorse from the 60s, nice. All metals, that's the thing. Easy to clean and oil, nice. That's, I think that's why my sewing machine fixer place, why he likes my machine. It's like, it's metal, it's gonna last forever, you can, there's nothing, no computerized anything with it. He's like, when all those other ones are broken and dead, this one, your great-grand kid will still be sewn on this one. So that made me like it. Yeah, now I'm getting a lot better at cleaning it and oiling it and all that too. So taking care of it. Just needs that new belt still. That I would love to learn how to put in myself too, so maybe I just skip going back to the guy altogether and figure out how to do that, figure out how to change the belt, get a new belt and change it. Although maybe since I don't think this should have been cracked, maybe I'll bring that up to him first and see what he says. Oh, you have a kind more like mine. It was your first machines. Yeah, this was my mom's sewing machine. And then she got a fancy new machine, and so I snookered this one. But yeah, this is my main machine and what I've been using forever. Actually, you know, since starting these live streams, like almost 3 years ago, I've been sewing just way more than ever before. Like, you know, me sewing now compared to 2 years ago, like, I know so much more about sewing and quilting and seams and more about my machine, like light years compared to when I started these live streams. So I'm definitely enjoying just sewing more. It was never kind of my main craft, but I don't know. I'm liking doing it a lot more. You learn a few tricks and it's like, oh, this is way more fun all of a sudden. But yeah, so machines probably got more use in the past few years than for a while. Although I was making stuffed animals for a long time on the machine. So it got a lot of use for a while there when I was making, I made stuffed animal kitties and had them on Etsy for a few years. Back at the beginning of Etsy. I should make some of those again, that'd be fun. All right. Ooh, this is another one of that fun dot. So I'm arranging them in the direction that I want that chevron to go, and then just making my stack so that when I sew them, it's easy. Everything is just it's just easy to grab and sew. I was watching women's half pipe before I came on here tonight. That was really fun. Man, it's so scary though. They just go straight up into the air and then, I don't know how people can do that. My brother, who does ski hills and stuff, he's worked on those half pipes and stuff before to build them. They have a machine that cuts the perfect shape out. And I'm using the towel on the ironing board for a couple reasons. You don't have to do that. This is just really specific to my situation here with the towel. First of all, I got this new ironing board, and oh, you can kind of see. So it's metal underneath. It's cheap, but it's metal from underneath. But you can see this pattern here. This actually burns up, and it will burn that pattern, that metal pattern, onto my fabric, which I was pretty not happy about with this new ironing board. So it's kind of protecting my fabric. So that's the main reason I have this here, just so I'm not burning that metal shape from my ironing board into it. Secondly, it's to protect my iron when I use starch. Last time with my old ironing board, I was using a bunch of starch. I had never really used starch before, and I was using it a lot for the Splendid Sampler project. And, you know, starch worked super great and everything, but it was staining my ironing board like a ton. And it was just looking super gross, so I got this new ironing board, which I hate because it does that metal burning thing, but the towel's there, so in case I do use starch, I won't get giant stains on it as well. So those are the two reasons. Oh, you were watching women's snowboarding too? Oh, a Grand Slalom. I was listening to an NPR thing on I think that it was that big slalom where they're going like 80 miles an hour or something down that thing, and that it's just scary. Like they have to like pump themselves up to go down the hill. And there was one guy on, and he's like, if it was just me, I would probably not do it. Like the only thing that gets me to come out of the gates is that I know that all these guys before me did it. If it was just me up on the hill and had the opportunity to go down, he thinks that he would be too scared. Oh, man. I'd be too scared. Is it thick? Because mine does that too. Oh, yours does the burning. I don't know. My old one didn't do that. So I think it's just cheap. I mean, there's just some foam here. I just think they were just making something. It's from Target. They were just making something cheap to sell. I bet you if I redid this top, like that might be a project for me one of these days. I might redo this top. There is some thermo type, oh, what is that called? Does anyone hear? No, there's some heat, not sensitive, but heat protective batting that exists. I might get some of that and put it down and then make a new cover for it. Then I don't have to do this whole towel anymore. The towel isn't thick, it's just a dish towel. I think it's just enough extra so it's not burning. It's just a tea towel. So I guess it's a little thick. It's not like a flour sack towel. Thinsulate. Is that what it is? Thinsulate. But yeah, I might get some of that. I wonder if I have any hiding somewhere. Every once in a while I get some samples of that sort of thing. I wonder if I have some of that hiding. I'm going to have to check. But yeah, I'll get some of that. Thermalem. Make sure to reflect the heat away from you. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, 100% cotton and canvas on top. Oh, that's a good suggestion. Thinsulate and then some canvas. Yeah, I think that's got to go on my project list. Because, I mean, I like the kitties. I like the little kitties we got going on here. But, man, I'm not happy with this ironing board. I mean, I like the size and everything because it fits on my table. But it's annoying. You can just buy a cover for a regular size ironing board and cut another. Oh, that's true. Cut it down a little bit. Add some batting. I wonder if I just put a bunch of batting in, but nah, I probably still want that heat sensitive stuff, right? I don't know. So there's a ironing board thing that I do want to do that's unrelated to this ironing board. So when I was in, oh gosh, where is it? In Indiana, that Amish, there's that whole Amish kind of fair thing down there. Oh, someone must know it. It starts with the letter P, the town. Oh, I can't think of it. But anyway, I got 2 ironing boards, like old, like vintagey wood ironing boards that just fold up and down, and they're just awesome. I love them. And I saw online once someone who made, no, that's not where, that's not where I got it, Lucy. Shipshawana. Oh, it isn't a P. Shipshawana. That is it, Livy. I love saying that so much. Yeah, so I got these 2 ironing boards from Shipshawana. That's the most fun word to say, just saying. And I saw online someone had done like a little patchwork, like a pretty patchwork, and then had made that patchwork kind of quilt, really, into an ironing board cover for one of those old, ironing boards like what I have. And I just think it's so pretty and cute, and I'd love to just have that up. I'd love to do it in a way where you can hang it up on the wall and it kind of looks like art, but you can just take it down and use it whenever you want because it's still an ironing board. That's kind of what I have in the back of my head for at least one of those, or 2 of them, like the 2 of them next to each other hanging up as art, but like with some quilting on it. That'd be cool. I would love that. And then still have them be usable. Oh, it's about an hour from you. Oh, fun. Yeah, that was went, oh, did I, like, these aren't the same size because I didn't cut this one yet. Last time we went through there, we stopped and got some of those. Ooh, you want to make an ironing board. That's cool. Ooh, what's the alpaca mat? Oh, is that kind of like just the wool? I've seen those before where you just have that thick wool and you can just iron right onto that. I'd love to get one of those because I think that might be a big space saver for me here. I just haven't spent time to look into that. You have your mother-in-law's. That's an all-wood ironing board. Love it because it's shorter than the newer ones. Oh, that's interesting. Old wooden ironing board. Needs a new cover. So one thing that I'm wondering about the ironing board, so it's wood. It needs a cover, right? You can't just iron right on that, can you? Like, I would think that would wreck the wood. I don't know. I am not familiar with the best way to use it. But yeah, if I make a cover, then it doesn't matter. But it's pretty as just wood too. It has a cover. Okay, so it needs a cover. Okay. One of them has a water stain on, but I bought it anyway because it's awesome. So I wonder if I should probably sand that off, or maybe some of that that wood that you put on butcher block, that like wax and oil or whatever. Maybe I just put that all over it to get rid of that water stain, and then make a cover for it or something. But I love the idea of somehow being able to hang it up on the wall. We don't really have any wall space, but hang it up on the wall so it looks almost like art, and then you can just take it down and use it whenever. I would love that. Ooh, yours is getting wobbly. Oh, from 25-pound kitties helping you out. Oh, funny. The covers in the store. Oh, the covers in the store aren't large enough for them. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in making a cover for it. I mean, how hard can that be? I would think. If I'm making a cover in my brain, like without looking it up, the directions how to do it, I would just kind of trace the shape of the ironing board and add probably, I don't know, what, maybe 4 inches all the way around that shape. And then I would just kind of sew that into a drawstring of some sort and then just pull it tight so it's all bunched underneath. That's, I don't know, in my brain, that's all I would do for an ironing board cover. And then, you know, put down, I would put that thermo stuff on too. If you put mayo on the wood, oh, interesting, and then gently scrub the marks and wipe off the mayo, the marks will disappear. That's interesting. Must be like the oil or something. Your mom still has her wood ironing board from when she started housekeeping. Oh, wow. When your dad came home from World War II. Oh, my goodness. YouTube has a video of the perfect pressing board by Sharon Chamber. That's what it is, right? I'll have to look into that. Ooh, add a pocket for the drawstring and then just pull it. Yeah, and then just have a, you know, get that thermo stuff in there too. Seems easy enough. You know, I really like that that one that I saw that it was all like patchwork, but I have a feeling like, wouldn't it be difficult to actually use it as an ironing board if it had like all this piecing? Because all those seams, I would think you would press into whatever you're pressing. Use a square wooden board covered with batting and a towel. Oh, okay. Oh, towels are easy to wash. Oh, that makes sense. If there's a towel, a removable kind of top to it. Well, that's why I like the idea of a drawstring cover, because I can just undo it, take it off whenever I want, and throw it in. And I don't want to, you know, I would never like staple it to the wood or anything like that. I would want it a removable thing. Jenny's video is so good. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Man, this is still so handy, the rotating cutting mat and the the ruler that's just the right size, like the exact size that I need with that diagonal in there. These are just getting done. Although our stack doesn't look that much smaller, but still, I feel like I'm making progress tonight. Yours is stapled. I just wouldn't want to staple mine just because it's those neat old ironing boards. I wouldn't want to hurt them. But if I was just making one out of like plywood or whatever, I would totally staple it. I wouldn't have any problem with that. I would staple it, then maybe cut a piece of felt or something for the bottom. Yeah, that's the nice thing is you can do it in a way that it fits your space well. So that'd be maybe a reason for me to do that. All right. Ooh, I have a lot of this dot one going in this direction. I'm not sure I have any of them going in the other direction, the other half chevron direction. Not that that matters, I'm just noticing it. Oh, you think the wool mats seem to get the seams so flat? Yeah, that's been in the back of my head, one of those. It'd be nice because I can just move it out of the way here. And it just seems like a very nice portable thing for like my little small space here. Oh man. Hello, Aaliyah. You're gonna sleep for the first time in 21 years. Nice. Sleep all the years, all the hours you missed sleeping. I think we can get a few more of these done tonight. 3 or 4 of them or so, I think. Stack's not getting all that smaller, but we're gonna whittle away this stack this week, and then that's it. Once we're done with this stack, that's like we have no more stuff except for our chevrons. Oh, no problem, Joe. I'm like, oh man, I think I'm missing part of the conversation. Oh yeah, I come on super early there. I'm in the future over by you. It's only like 4 a.m. or something by you, isn't it, Aaliyah? I still like these purples, just the plain purple with the red. All right, open this seam up. There we go. Oh, it's around 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Oh man, how many more to cut? We got a whole pile of them yet, and we will be doing these for the next few days for sure. Look. Here's the stack still. It doesn't look like we made any progress, but we did. It's getting smaller. Here's what we did tonight. And we might take a break in the middle of it again, like how we have been doing when that stack gets up a little taller. Then we've been sewing them together into the half chevrons and then coming back to this trimming. Oh, your 8-year-old wants a red and purple. Yeah, I like these two together. They're like equally as bright and juicy. These two colors, I think. Yeah, and it's one of those things that you feel like you're working on that pile, you know, for a long time, and then it just still looks like the same amount in that pile. But eventually the pile's just done. Eventually it's just gone. So we're putting in the little bits of time, and then it'll get done. Here. There we go. We won't have any more little fuzzles, like no more scraps when we're done with these chevrons. That's it. It'll just be sewing the chevrons together, and then we're done with the top, which is crazy. So after we get these guys done, it's going to be speedy, I think, to finish it up. I need to come up with some sort of back for this. I think I do have a couple, I might have a few chevrons here or there that I can use for the back maybe. Oh, and we're going to be doing this for a while yet, so there's plenty of time to join in yet. I'm also going to be free motion quilting it as well. So that's going to take oodles of time, so we'll be on this for like months yet, so if you want to join in yet, there's plenty of time. This would be a great project to use up a bunch of scraps too, as long as you have like one color. I'm using this red, but one color that you can go throughout the whole thing. It doesn't even have to be a color, it could be another fabric. And then, or another, it could be a patterned fabric too. And then, you know, whatever fat quarters or scraps you have around. They want to ask you if it was okay if we embroider your cat and the coffee cup doodle. No one asked, Paula. I think I might, I don't know, I have an idea for that. I might do, I don't know, I was kind of thinking of doing a few more drawings like that and making them all into like a little coffee cup or teacup embroidery, like a mini collection of embroideries of those little guys. I don't know, we'll see. I'm trying to come up with, I mean, I didn't think about this until after I had drawn it. I'm like, ooh, this would be cute to embroider. So I think I might make it into a little sampler pattern, that and a few other ones. We'll see. You're welcome to embroider it based on that if you want. Otherwise, I think it will come out with it for a little while. You have a quilt that you're going to free motion with me. Awesome. That's great, Anne. So you could give me some tips maybe. I've never free motion quilted before, really. Just on a little piece of fabric. And it seems like fun, but I'm going to probably need lots of help. Oh, Joe, you're sewing yours into rows. Nice. You're doing the lap size. I think that's a good size. Most of my quilts end up being lap size. Actually, lately, we've been doing a lot of these queen size quilts, which is just an odd world for me. This is going to be a twin size, so this is going to be my napping on the couch blankie when I'm done here. Oh, you haven't done it either, and yeah, gotta get this top done and come up with a back for it. I want to do a little quick project in between, or maybe we'll start on the free motion and then jump to the other project just for a little break. So before I do the free motion quilting, I do want to I want to sew all the zigzags first. So I'm going to straight line with my my walking foot. I'm going to sew in the ditch, which just means in the seam. I'm going to sew in the seam of all the zigzags first, because I think that will, first of all, it'll hold the quilt together. You know, I'm going to baste it, so I'll use my basting pins to baste it first, and then I'll sew all the zigzags, but I think that will hold all the like insides of the zigzags together so that I think free motion quilting might be a little easier in those zigzags with the with them already being attached with the walking foot, the straight line quilting first. So we're kind of like pre-quilting it a little bit, I think. But I think for this particular quilt, I think, and since it's my first time free motion quilting, I think that might be a good idea. We'll see. Oh, the Finish It Friday got you started quilting the heart quilt. Oh, Lucy, I saw that in the Penguin Fish Crafters group. Man, you are super good at that already. That's awesome. And you were cranking those blocks out, the free motion quilting. You were doing like little pebbles, right? Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'll show you guys again here. I'm going to get... Where's my little stiletto? I was going to point it out. But anyway, so I'm going to zigzag. I'm going to get my stiletto. Hold on. I can't find my stiletto, but I have this. So I'm going to straight line stitch in the seams. So I'm going to baste my quilt, and then I'm going to stitch in all the zigzag lines like this. So then I'll, go up here. I'm going to do that first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to free motion quilt only in the patterned area, I think. So I'm going to leave my red open. I'm not going to do anything in the red. I might do like one little straight line stitch like what's showing in the pattern here, but in general I'm going to leave my red area open, and then I'm going to free motion quilt in all of this area, all of the patterned area, but only after I do the straight line stitching of all the guys. So that's my plan. Hopefully that makes sense. I think that straight line stitching first is just going to really hold everything together while I play with the free motion. We'll see how it goes, I guess, at least. The nice thing is that one stitching in the ditch, just stitching that zigzag, that's probably enough quilting to hold it together. I mean, with how modern batting is, like back in the day with just like 100% pure cotton batting, you had to do like really tight quilting, otherwise it would all kind of pull apart. But now, with some of the different battings out there, you can have like a wider area apart. Oh man, I don't remember what, oh, I do have the pattern here. I would just check with the pattern here. I don't really want to say, you can look actually, you can go into the older videos and check it out, but otherwise I do recommend getting the pattern. You can really do any size you want. It's just two squares together. Baste very well, draw your ideas on paper. Ooh, that's a good idea. But yeah, the pattern is available by, it's by Krista Watson of Krista Quilts. And I recommend getting that. I do think she has a digital version of it on Craftsy too. I don't know if she might sell to Canada, but she definitely has the digital version. So if you go to the link that I have, I might even have a PDF link, but if you go to the link in the description area of her, like once you're there, in the description area, she'll have a link to the PDF version, which I think she sells through Craftsy. The printed one she gets from, or she sells on her own there. My guess is that she probably sells to Canada. She also runs a pretty large the pre-cut store on Amazon. That's her company as well. So she sells fabric, pre-cuts of fabric all over the place too. So my guess is that she would ship to Canada if you wanted the physical pattern. But yeah, there is a digital one. So yeah, you can get it right away then too that way. Ooh, I still like the strawberries here. All right. I think I'm going to do one more tonight, and then we'll call it an evening. Oh man, I almost had this way. I was almost going to cut through it like that. That would have been so sad. I would have lost one here. But luckily that didn't happen. This one's your favorite, Libby? Or the strawberries? I really like that strawberries with that dark background. So fun. Oh yeah, the pattern, it's really well written. So it's clear, concise. She has, Krista put in really clear directions for if you're using yardage, or if you're using fat quarters, or if you're using charm packs or different pre-cuts, and for all different sizes. She really gets into the here's what you need to do this, and it makes it so easy. So yeah, it's a great pattern as far as the writing of it. So I would recommend it. It is definitely going to be a happy quilt. I hope so. I am ironing the seams open. First of all, it was mostly because it was recommended by Krista in the pattern. I've heard her talk about open seams before, and she recommends it for free motion quilting. Then the whole quilt, the seams are kind of dispersed more evenly than if you are pushing them all to one side. So it's easier to free motion quilt over them. You don't have to, there's not any weird feelings of jumping up on a thicker piece of fabric or something like that by having the multiple layers of seams being pressed to one side. So that's, I'm going with that. It's, I don't usually press seams open. It's a big extra step. It's not a big extra step, but it's an extra step. And when you're doing an extra step for a bajillion things, then it adds up. But I'm going with the recommendation, especially since I don't know anything about free motion quilting. Or I haven't done a lot of any free motion quilting. So I'm going with the recommendation because of that. But that's the reason. The potential of it being easier to free motion quilt. But yeah, so that's what's recommended in the pattern for that. I'm not sure you'd have to. But if it helps line things up better, if it helps me free motion quilt better, then that's good for me. Ooh, this one's pretty. All right, I think that will be that. Ooh, I like it. I'm gonna like this one a lot. So that is our stack for the night. So we did pretty good. We did all this tonight, so that's good. We do still have a pretty dense stack here yet, so a few more nights on this for sure. But once this stack gets big enough, we'll start sewing them into the half chevrons again. All right, so I'm going to flip you around. We made some progress tonight. Hello! Thanks again for joining me. So we got a few stack of them going on here. I hope we can just make that bigger and bigger tomorrow and get a nice good stack so we can do those half chevrons. So yes, it was great to see all you guys again. I hope you had a great Monday, and I hope you have a great rest of your week too. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and then I will be back here tomorrow, Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So thanks again, guys. I appreciated all your likes and shares and you joining me here every night. It's so fun to chit chat with you guys. So, all right, see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.